We're live. We're live now. So we are live on Facebook and YouTube tonight, Robyn.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's going out on both stations. Stations. Are they stations? Platforms.
Yeah. Panels, pages, groups.
So whereabouts are you from then, Robyn?
Originally, I'm from North Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada.
Yeah.
But for the last over 20 years, because I hate the city, I live out in the country, probably about 4 hours away. And still in Canada, but I'm more in a vacation area called the Shoe Swap. So love it out here, right by the lake. And
oh, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah, love it.
Evening, Amanda, Diane, Yolanda, Linda. I don't know if you can see them all coming up on your chat now, Robyn.
Yeah, I'm just turned on comments now. I'm not sure if I'll get them all, but
yeah, I think you do. I think you also get them on YouTube as well. I think you'll get both. Adam, evening, Adam. Massive respect from North Wales, UK, Robyn.
Hello,
Adam. Evening, Maureen. Hope everybody's well this evening, and thank you for joining us for Chit Chat Tuesday. So, as you all know, Chit Chat Tuesday is sometimes we have people, we have guests on, like such as the lovely Robyn. Sometimes we just chit chat about nothing. It's not even paranormal we chit chat about. But yes, so tonight, if anybody wants to ask any questions, pop them into chat, and every so often I'll either pop one up into comments so we can see it, because I know when we're talking, sometimes it's hard to see comments, but please ask your questions as long as they're respectful. So Yolanda, we've got Adam, we've got hi from Essex, sending love down to Essex and Wales. So Robyn, start by telling us a little bit about yourself then. And how did you come about getting involved in the paranormal? Evening, everybody joining.
Hello, everyone. Actually, probably between 5 and 7 years old. That's the first experiences that I recall. And those were with fog figures sitting at the end of my bed. So it's been basically since then that I've had multiple experiences all through my life. And they not again since moving from that place with the fog figures, but everywhere I live, yeah, they still come. I have spirits of all sorts. Most I don't know, and I have helped a few cross. And I'm starting to blog them all. I'm starting to write down all my experiences because I'm going to be writing a book. So I've only got. Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, really excited. So I don't even know the name of it. I've got well, not all, because I still remember, like, oh yeah, that happened. So I it's a continuous thing. But yeah, I've got a whole whack of experiences here, and then I've got another 2 pages here as well.
That just keep adding to.
Yeah, I keep adding to it, and it's not giving me enough time to write the book, but it may even be enough for like 2 books. So
you never know.
Yeah, I've got. Sorry.
Did you know when you saw the shadows? When you saw the shadows at the end of the bed? Then did family explain to you? Was there somebody in family, Robyn, that had this kind of gift? Did they explain to you that this could happen, or was you just like on your own figuring it out, if you know what I mean?
I was on my own. If I talked about it with anyone besides my sisters, that's a one-way trip to the psych wards. Back then. I mean, we're talking like 57 years ago or 52 years ago. So yeah, it just was not accepted then.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah. So no, up to probably a good few years ago was when I met Carol Swindle. who is a medium. And I've
Yeah.
always wondered, well, why me? Why is all this crap happening to me all the time? You know, but she explained to me that I was gifted, and I always felt different, but I never felt gifted. So it's been since that point that I've been working on my gift and finding out more and the reasons why all these things happened to me. So when she said that, everything sort of fell into place, you know, and it was more understandable. So yeah, now, you know, I get spirits come through all the time, but it doesn't scare me anymore. Not like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I've only had one very negative experience. That was in another home I lived in. That was on the mainland. And I worked in a restaurant. So of course I come home late at night. My hair was up in a ponytail and stuff. So I come home, everybody's in bed. And so I turn on the TV, and I think it was Saturday Night Live that was on. And so I sit back in the lazy boy, and you recline and just sort of chill before you go to bed.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my hair, like my ponytail, was pulled back. I got pulled to the floor backwards on the lazy boy chair. And so, of course, you're like, you know, you quickly get up. Okay, who's around you?
Yeah.
There was nobody, of course. And but the weird thing is that the laughter on the Saturday Night Live show, it sounded almost demonic. Like, you know, that you could see that they're laughing, but it was coming out very, very
I know
odd,
what you mean. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But yet it was their mouth, but it was short-lived. And then that ended. That didn't, it didn't ever come back. But I think it followed me back from the restaurant. It was an older building. And there was a couple areas there where it sort of, you know, you just know that something's there, you know, but it never happened again.
That's amazing though, because it's like, do you know what I mean? I'm not hoping not I'm changing. I jump subjects, so you have to bear with me because I'm shocking.
Oh, that's fine. I do the same thing.
But it just proves, I mean, you've experienced this from a child, and this experience has been coming through, but in all these years, you've had one negative that's come through and done something to a point where it came, it did what it needed, and then it went. So to me, I just love it, because I know it's just the one thing coming in, but again, it's just showing everybody watching that just because there's negative energies are out there, but they are very few and far between coming through to come round us, kind of thing. Because
don't start this debate.
No, I'm not starting a debate. I'm just stating we deal with the light.
With Lindsay,
we agree with it. We'll just get shot down for it.
No,
and I've had multiple experiences, and only one, and in all different places. I mean, every single place that I've lived, shit starts happening. You know, and none of it's negative, or it's just trying to get your attention. You know, like when people say, "Oh, someone chucked something," or something, you know, moved. It's
attention they wanted. Yes,
that's the way.
It's like, look at me, I'm here.
I'm trying to contact you for a while. Hey, listen, you know. That's the way I see it, and you know, I do believe that demons are out there, but they're very, very few. And so.
But I mean, like we said, there is we get grumpy. We call them more grumpy, don't we? I don't attract them.
The grumpy ones.
We don't attract the grumpy ones. That's you. No, I'm joking aside.
Well, I suppose it is in women. Yeah, I attract grumpy women.
Do you know? I can't smack him because we're on camera. So Robyn, so Robyn, how did you fare in your teenage years then? Did you continue
Yes.
on your journey? Did you continue going down that journey, like you said, learning different paths and different ways? Or was it like later on, like late teens, early 20s or something, when you actually started getting into it properly and realizing what gift you had?
Well, I didn't realize I had gifts until like
till Carol,
years back when I met with Carol. I just always wondered why this stuff was happening to me. In my group, I have 12 experiences written up so far. I still have a lot more, but those will be going in the book. I mean, they'll be better written and stuff. Those are just close. Yeah.
So how did you form?
I always knew I was different.
Yeah. How did you form your group then, Robyn? How did you come about to form paranormal or to all of it? Yeah.
Oh, actually, Carol and I and Tim for the last bit were admin for a very, very large, actually back then, it's not now, but back then it was the largest paranormal group.
Wow.
And out there. And I won't get into things, but
no.
We were out of there.
Yeah.
And to say the least. And so we started making these little groups, what in the Wiccan, ghost spirits, hauntings worldwide, it's all these little ones. And then it was actually Carol's idea. She brought up one day, said, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have like somewhere drama-free, somewhere where groups could come together, not just to share, but to make friends, get to know each other, support, advice, whatever, problem solve. And I thought about that. I thought, okay, let's run. And so we ran with it. And that's where we started up the Para Unity, which has been really successful, way more successful than what, I or Carol or Tim could have imagined. But it's not just about the sharing. It's about the meeting, meeting friends and the supports and the advice and the, getting your name out there,
See, the thing is as well, I think, again, within the Para Unity group, and it's like we've always, we always said that we don't have drama on our channel, and we don't go down that path, but we don't do any ourselves anyway. But what you tend to find is when you've got it's all about the paranormal and all about what topic that you're discussing that night in chat, isn't it?
It's not always paranormal. All
right, I don't mean it's always. I've just said earlier it's not always paranormal, but the subjects that we talk about, everybody in chat is interested in them subjects.
Normally food.
So
even equipment, whatever. We throw in the good old dirty joke. That's all.
Of course you do. Yeah, it is.
Friends and getting to know each other, right? Yeah. So, we have a good time in chat.
Yeah, but it is good. I mean, we've met some lovely people through Para Unity, and again, like you say, the conversations that you have, or somebody might message you and say, "Oh, we saw you using that piece of equipment last night. Can you explain that equipment?" And then they'll go on. They'll use that equipment, but then they're able to explain to those watching them what that equipment does and everything else. So it really is a nice play what the equipment does. So when did you start up your paranormal and spirituality group, Robyn? And
are you talking about now the Robins?
Yes.
Robins, Paranormal and Spiritual Senses. That's the name of it. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, it's me.
Brain fart. Anyway, that was just a couple months ago.
Really? Wow.
I just decided on a whim, okay, I need to start, because I decided to do the book.
The book and everything. It could, yeah.
So I started to write down, my experiences. So I've got 12 there so far. And that's when I started.
Can you talk about any of your experiences without giving too much away or spoiling the book? Because we don't want to spoil the book.
They're very, they explain quite a bit, but I mean, there's so much more around it and more detail that I would be putting into the book. But oh boy, I've had so many. Which one should I talk about? I lived in now this is a very serious haunted home where I was living. This was in Maple Ridge in BC, down on the lower mainland. And, there would be times that I come home and the toilets are flushing, the water is running. I've seen a dog, black, tan, and white, just a little bit smaller than mid-size, like a size of a Cocker Spaniel about.
Yeah.
Run down the hallway, and I've seen him sitting at the end of the hallway. A little girl would come in, play in my son's room, and she would actually, what she would do, he had this remote control, and so it had this like wire with a little red bead on the end. And so I'd go in there, and there's this little bead getting pulled down to the floor, and then it would let go. And so
going back and forth
until it would stop, and then you could see it being pulled down again. I mean, so much happened in that place. My ex woke up to a little girl sitting on his chest in the middle of the night. It took him 2 days to tell me.
Yeah.
But
How did family find it then? Now, obviously now, Robyn, they're going to be used to things or seeing things around them. Have kids inherited your gift?
Some of the gifts, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Amy Sue Sandy, she's my daughter. She's actually finding out that she's very gifted, and she texts me or calls me, "Mom, this just happened. What do I do?" So yeah, she's learning, but also the kids don't realize, like, these days, since paranormal and spirituality is way more accepted nowadays than it was way back. Even that show, like the Psychic Kids, those kids are, and they don't realize it, but they are so lucky to have the support that they have nowadays. Because really, when I was growing up, you did not talk ghosts. You did not say that you're
did, and if you did, it were more
oh, she's crazy.
What is it? Classed like a schizophrenia in some cases, going further back, because you're actually talking to voices in your head. That's how you'd have to explain it, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So it'd go back to so obviously, like you said,
mental illness.
Yeah,
exactly. And that brings up another thought of mine with schizophrenia and stuff. Now, how many people are getting diagnosed with schizophrenia and medicated, and when really they have gifts, and then the doctors take a look at that and say, well, why aren't these meds working? So they up the meds. You see what I mean? Until it's just I've met a few people that I'm misdiagnosed.
On my nan's side of family, my dad's side of family. I mean, it is a standing joke, but my mum always joked that my dad was the only normal one out of them, because there was a lot of mental health issues on my dad's side of family. But my nanan's side of family was really strict Catholics.
Yes.
But my nanan's mom's mom, apparently she was don't look at me like that.
I'm trying to work it out.
she used to like you said, read tea leaves and stuff like that. And I only found out because I messaged our Rachel the other day about that photo to do with my dad. And our Rachel was saying how on my dad, but one of my dad's brothers, he's got schizophrenia, but he can't be around people because the energy of the people around him, he thinks he's being talked about constantly, but they class that as paranoid schizophrenia. Me auntie, which would have been my dad's sister, she, I mean, even I used to think that crazy lady and stuff like that, but even though the Catholic religion, my Auntie Brenda used to read tea leaves, and it's things that I didn't know, and it's things that I didn't realize until a couple of days ago that this were happening. But then you come down generations. I'm ADHD, split personality, which I always say you can't tell. But it just goes to show, I mean, I'm not saying that that schizophrenia isn't real, because it is, there's something in them cases, there really is. But yeah, it just goes to show if, like you said, if schizophrenia has got a connection to umpteen amounts of spirits talking to us and we can't control it, it does go back in families, generations, do you know? But I do find that very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's I find that
because that's what people say, isn't it? When you're in voices, and if you don't know how to deal with all these voices you've got coming in, you know, especially when they say I've got different personalities. Yeah. And maybe some of these energies are quite strong. Oh, I mean, when I'm not saying for definite, I'm not diagnosing, but
that's right. It's good.
These energies can come through strong. We've seen it when people go into transfiguration and they'll bring the face alters, the body language alters, everything. And what's to say that when they're having these different character episodes, this isn't an energy trying to come through them? Do you know? You just don't know, do you? It's
well, that is a good thing about being with you, though. Like,
why?
So I can't hear any of the voices when you
You love me, really.
Wait, I'll poke him for you.
Yeah, you poke him. Did you feel that poke? But yeah, yes, Adam, Robyn is on Facebook. We're going to be sharing Robyn's links.
Oh, wonderful! Thanks.
It's Para-Unity link that we will be sharing, which we're already involved in anyway.
More for groups,
I think one's more for groups, but isn't one open for everybody in that one in Para-Unity group? It's not just paranormal. And it being opened up to everybody now, Robyn? Or is it those just are in groups?
It has to be approved. We go through a little bit of a process. Yeah. So at this point, we have probably 11 groups waiting to come in. Yeah. And we don't want to bring them in all at once or you know, one at a time. Yeah. Because it's only fair where, you know, you just don't want to introduce, okay, here's 20 extra people, you know, it's we all want to get to know each other sort of thing. Yeah. So there is a process on that, and we need to make sure that
it's followed. Yeah, everybody feels at ease when they come in, because like you say, if you put too many in, it's just going to overpower how they feel, isn't it?
People are going to be drowned out sort of thing, eh? Yeah. But it's also what we look into is the drama side of things, because this is all drama has got to be kept outside of the walls. We can't stop drama, right? No. And if the drama gets so bad from a couple particular groups, it actually can start dwindling in. So we nip that right there.
Well, that's a good thing about paranormal. There's not much drama in paranormal.
Yeah, so no,
Yeah.
so there's a bit of a wait to get in right now.
But I mean, it's like we said with drama, it's easily nipped in, but because it's like we said, we have different people coming in that watch different people's lives or get involved with different people on friends level, whatever.
Yeah.
But when they all come into chat, it's like you have to drop that baggage that you've got has to be dropped at the door. Yeah. And you don't have to bring it into channel. So if you saw somebody that you might have had a word with in somebody else's channel, that should be left where it were left. It shouldn't be brought in then to intimidate in another
support to go after them or anything.
Yeah, and it shouldn't. And that's what I do like about everybody who's been involved with us and watches us, the ETA family, as I call it, is because I know a lot leave the baggage at door, because I've seen them where they've been not liking certain people or they've had disagreements or whatever. But when them people come in, they either just say hello, or they won't, or they can't see them because they've already pre-blocked them. Do you know what I mean? So it's really easy to not have the drama inside. You just got to think of it like it's like you're coming into somebody's house, basically. Do you know, if you look at it, you're coming into somebody's house, leave everything at the door and just enjoy what the new thing is. But for me anyway, so exactly. Mary's put, she sees a man dressed in black and I think the next day there's a death. Oh, Mary's talking about one of her relations, I think. One of Mary's relations. She sees a man dressed in, I think I've put it up. Yeah. She sees a man dressed in black and she knows next day that there's going to be a death around her or to where she is. I don't know how I'd react to that. I don't know.
I would find that a little bit.
I think,
not knowing who.
Exactly. Yes, Ted, they should.
I still think that were weird with Simon, with that picture.
Oh, did you?
Have you heard about that? Well, you probably not. I mean,
you'll know Simon. Yes, Paranormal.
He's done the drama, but he used to have a picture in his house hung up at top of the stairs, and it was I think it was a family picture. It was his wedding photo. The whole family, and it fell off wall once.
We were there investigating. No,
first time. It fell off wall first time, so it bothered him, because nobody were near it. So he Googled it, and it said that if a family photo or something can fall off wall, somebody in the picture might,
somebody within that family is going to pass.
Might pass.
Oh, wow.
And not long after that, his brother passed.
Really?
So
yeah,
he ummed and ahed about it. Is it right? Is it not? But and he hung it back up, this picture. When we were there investigating his house that very night, he was telling us a story about the picture. There was me, Simon, and Jane's
other half. I can't remember Jane's.
Ghost Hunt Down.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am sorry, I forgot his name. Anyway, we were stood at the top of the stairs. Nobody were near the picture, and this picture fell off wall again. And not long after, Simon's wife passed away.
Yeah.
Oh my! Holy.
So
mackerel.
now he's still got the photo, he's still got the picture, but he won't hang it up. But again, we're good friends with Simon, but I don't necessarily agree with what Simon's saying or doing on his channel. But that's what he's doing on his channel. That's not anything to do with the relationship.
Exactly. You're separate.
You bring it in, and it's like, again, it's left at the doorway. But that's, again, it's like you said, Ted put it earlier, it's respecting everybody's channels that you go on. It is the key. But it were creepy. I mean, Simon does tell that story quite a lot of times, doesn't he? But it was just amazing how it happened while we were there. And then and then obviously sadly he did lose his wife, but it worked. So have you ever experienced or had any anybody come to you with things like that happening, where certain things have happened before somebody's passed, or
not Yeah, no, I haven't had any experience like you're talking similar to
Yeah.
what, right? Yeah. No, I haven't. I'm sort of glad.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
that-
I don't think I'd want. Yeah, yeah. So, what's one of your favorite experiences? I mean, they're all favorites because they're all unique in their own way. But the one that would stand out for you. Oh, before you tell me, why did it take 2 days for your husband to tell you that he got a baby, a child on his chest?
You know what? I don't know. I think he was like really
Took back?
Yeah, he didn't want to be looked at as weird either, or in agreement with me because he knows that stuff happens around me. So,
Yeah.
but he's like, yeah, long gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, but it did take him a couple days, and I think it had something to do with
sitting on
he
fence,
didn't want to believe in the paranormal, or and he didn't want to see what was going on around me. It was constant back then. So yeah, with something happening with him, I don't think he wanted to be like in agreement with me.
Yeah, it's that admitting actually there is something. I've been taking Mick for a while out of here, and I'm a non-believer, and it's not a load of rubbish, but it's not something I believe in. And then for him to actually come and say, actually, do you know, the night the little girl saw on my chest. yeah. How are you going to react? Are you going to say, stop messing about and joking with me? Are you going to be really, did that happen? So yeah, there is. So back to question then now.
It was a question.
I get so confused myself. One of the best experiences then, one of your memorable experiences that you've had or participated in, or
oh boy, I've got a few of them.
That's okay.
But I have to go back to that house that I was living in, where the little girl would come, and I'd be sitting there just during just having coffee during the day, and the milk jug, the plastic jug, would be sitting on the counter, and then all of a sudden you can watch it because you sort of hear that plastic crinkling or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you look over, and it's getting squished in, and the milk is just bubbling, just so it doesn't spill. And then all of a sudden something lets go and it drops. That place I had a Jolly Jumper. It would like just swing, and choo-choo train, stuffed animals go off. And there was a man there. He was standing behind me in the window. But I did look into all of these experiences. I was renting the house from the city at the time, and actually I found out, I asked them who the old owners were. They actually gave me the phone number. I couldn't believe it because there's a whole confidentiality issue there. But anyway, I got it. And it turns out that the son I actually worked with. And I was working with special needs adults back then. And so I got in contact with him, and I talked to him about the little girl that kept coming over, ringing the doorbell and doing all this stuff. And it turns out that little girl was a neighbor. And she was only allowed to play so far away because she'd end up in the hospital a couple times a week she had severe asthma, as I understand. And so she was only allowed to go next door. She would play with the dog, and I described the dog. And so that's her coming to the door and continuing on, but I guess she had passed. And about 5 years earlier. So that sort of just, I described the little girl, and it turns out good chance it was her. I described the dog, and the gentleman that I would hear upstairs in the dining room or and seen standing behind, or I didn't see him. Actually, the ex seen him standing behind me. Anyway, he was actually the guy that I was talking to. That was his dad. Now, what happened was, I guess he had cancer, some sort of cancer, and his mom had to move the husband into the dining room so then she could watch him and keep a closer eye on him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's exactly where he was standing, looking out the window at me. I was like right on the other side, and that's where I would hear him talking and stuff like that. So it all sort of came together.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know now about the gifts and stuff, I would love to get back there.
Yeah.
And do some investigating. Oh, I had two big dogs in the same place. One had a larger snout and the other one had a longer, thinner snout. They were rather big. And every night I would bring them in from outside. They stay in the garage, and then every morning I'd take them out. But the kids would never go down to that garage area because there was an odd feeling down there.
Yeah.
They wouldn't go near it with a 10-foot pole. So anyways, I go down there to go let the dogs out in the morning, and there's two paintings right on the concrete of the two dogs, and you could see that they were the actual size of the heads, just the heads, not the bodies, but the heads, the eyes, everything, right on the concrete. And those were not there when I brought them in the night before.
Yeah.
But
and that's quite strange, that as well, because I mean, if somebody's going to be drawing, or even if it's on paper, whatever, you'd draw the body, draw the head, the body, everything. You wouldn't just,
Yeah, but no, it was just.
Plus, they would have barked. Dogs would have barked, surely, if they'd have seen somebody.
Oh yeah.
On property going round them, dogs would have alerted you as well that there was somebody there that shouldn't be there, because.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. There was absolutely no barking, no anything, nothing. You know, I brought them in at night, and I went down to let them out in the morning, and they were. Yeah, those paintings were there. And the thing is, I don't even have red paint.
Yeah.
I didn't have any red paint in the house. So, if I thought about it, I would have actually, maybe taken a scraping or something, try and take it over to Rona or some sort of paint shop. Tell me what kind of paint this is,
Yeah.
Or what the paint. It wasn't blood or anything.
So they were like a mix, So there's definitely a mixture of energies then, isn't they, that were there? I mean, who's to say, actually? Do you know the gentleman's energy that was still there? Maybe in his younger life, you don't know whether they could have been, because obviously you don't know history to people. You know certain histories, don't you? But you don't know. Maybe one of his family, or he were a painter. You don't, do you know what I mean? That used to sit in garden paint. There's just so many different explanations you can look into. To think, especially with everything going off in the property. I mean, to me, I think the little girl's quite happy being there and doing what she's doing and coming and visiting and stuff. I don't think the gentleman feels, because obviously I think you would have felt something if he wanted to move on or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're quite happy visiting and coming back and forth.
Yes, I totally agree, and I honestly think there was a lot of residual energy there, actual haunting or visitations. There was a good combination of things, but then wherever I live as well, stuff starts coming.
You're just a beacon.
All of that. It was like, it was quite a lot. Yeah,
but you're like a light bulb to them, though. That's what they say, isn't it? You're going to be the light bulb. So even if you didn't realize it at the time, your energy were attracting their energy to come forward.
Yes,
to you. Do you know what I mean? So really, your learning path started. They were helping you all the way through. Really, you know, energies that were coming in around you were guiding you and showing you things. And, do you know, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. If anybody's got any questions, pop them into chat. And Ted's got a question, so I'll pop it up. Can you see it, Robyn?
Yes, I can. So that would be residual. And yes, there was definitely some residual stuff going on there, but there was definitely haunting or visitation, you know, and residual is like an imprint in the environment, and it just keeps replaying, whether it's, you know, for whatever reason. Maybe it's a time of day, maybe it's the temperature, who knows.
That's
really.
Residual's the one when it's like on a movie, isn't it?
It's like a loop.
Yeah, it's like on a loop.
There's no interaction with anybody around them that's living, so they just go on their business, and they sort of just disappear. There was that, but there was also the haunting from the little girl, or the visitation. I don't necessarily think she was haunting the place, but I think she just loved coming over and playing, and continued doing what she always did before death. Yeah. So, and I could tell that's not residual, because she would play with specific items that definitely were not there when she was alive, and there was interaction. So I think maybe some of her was residual and some of the things going on, but I think she would actually as well come and visit as well. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So I know Amanda's just put, she had her first paranormal experience when she was 15 at her uncle's bungalow in Canada. So do you think? I know, whereabouts in Canada? Don't give me full address, but just the area, Amanda, if you can. Just tell us area.
Area or province?
Doesn't that only happen if something triggers it off? So I don't know if he's answering into something in chat.
It said that as questions.
Yeah, no, it were. Yeah. So doesn't that only happen if something triggers it off though? Oh, do you mean like the residual energy of it?
I don't know. I presume so.
Yeah,
that's what it means.
I don't know. Could you? I suppose you could. I mean, if you were reenacting something in an area that's something happened, you could bring it.
Something triggered. It depends what you mean by triggers, because like Robyn says, it could be a certain day or a certain hour of every day. Now that could be a trigger for it, or even a temperature when it reaches a certain. Do you know what I mean? Or it could be a lot of. So that could be the trigger, but there's not like one specific thing. I don't think you could do
to do it. To trigger it off. Yeah. I can't even on Ontario. Yes.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So do you know where you did used to live? Do you think that there were ley lines underneath? Do you think that it was the area just because of the history of hairier? I'm saying hairier as in hairy arms. In the area going round. Do you think that that's what holds on to a lot of
the energy?
The energy, yeah.
Yeah, or a lot of emotional stuff, or trauma, or it could be a trigger of anything. I think anything can specifically trigger.
No, I mean, do you know where your house was on that land around it? Was it a very historical? Was there a lot of history to the land also, or do you think did you know whether you were on certain ley lines? Because I know there's ley lines, isn't there, that go through and stuff.
I mean, we've said it before. Most places, everywhere's got history.
Well, I suppose it has, because even if there were no, if you go back 100 years to what were on that land then, there's got to have been something on that land that would have left some kind of history.
Yeah, or there might not have been anything there, but people have walked over that land or worked that land or whatever.
Yeah, I have no idea about the lines or anything, but it was an older home, but it wasn't like an old home.
Yeah.
You know, it was probably like 40 years old or so. I'm just going to shut my door so then my dog.
You're okay. We don't, you know, normally it's Fifi that's barking like a good in. Jazz got fit, shouldn't she? Sleeping.
There we go.
So, Robyn, what else have you got in your goodie bag to talk about?
Oh my goodness, there's I can talk more experiences.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Kevin, my husband, his father passed like long before him and I got together. And I've actually met him, the dad, 3 times.
Wow.
And that's very, very touching. I mean, the first time, actually, I was down, we were getting ready to go to my stepson's wedding. And so I'm down, we have that's a long drive, so 5-hour drive. So I was just putting on my runners and I'm just down on one knee doing up a runner, and Kevin's in the bathroom. And something caught my eye, and I look up just slightly, and there's this like blue pant leg, like a dress pant, and some dark colored shoes, and I'm like, yeah. who the hell's that? And you start to look up, and no, they're gone. So anyways, but for some reason I knew that was Kevin's dad. That was the first time. I didn't meet him at that point, but I did see his lower pant leg. So anyways, and the bottom part of his blazer. Yeah. But we went to the wedding, and we went to the pre-wedding a place where all the groomsmen got together and stuff like that. And so we walk in, and I look, and there's all those exact same color of suits, the same length that up to where I seen it. Yeah. All the groomsmen were all wearing the color and everything. So I think the dad was trying to say that he was going to be there at the wedding. Yeah. So the second time, I didn't feel him or anything at the wedding, but there's so many emotions and stuff that I pick up on. I have to keep going out in. So I didn't pick up on him like at all, but I'm sure he was there. The second time I was sitting here having my coffee, and I turn around, and something caught my eye, and there's his dad, a full body, just standing there staring at me. I seen the clothes he was wearing. You know, it was so nice because he looked at me and he stood there and just smiled, had this just very slight smile on his face. Wow. And then he, it was almost like I was picking up that he was satisfied with me marrying his son. I mean, it was actually almost emotional. Yeah. What I'm picking up. The third time was actually just a few weeks ago, and Kevin's truck needed repair on the bumper, so he drove his truck in. I drove the Jeep, and we both went to the garage. I pulled up a little bit on the side of the road while he pulled up right in front, because obviously it would have to go in. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there waiting for him, and I look in the rear view mirror, and there's this man standing behind the Jeep. I thought, what? Because it just reminded me of Kevin, but just looking quick, right? So I turn around and look, and it was his dad again, but his dad wasn't looking at me. He was standing there behind the Jeep watching, I guess, when Kevin would come out to the garage. Wow. So who knows? He even drove with Kevin. Kevin didn't realize it, to the garage or whatever. And yeah, but then, he stood there probably for, probably 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Or so.
Do you know,
And yeah, so I had a really good look at him. And,
that's good. Do you know, to me, that's just so. I think if John said to me, "I've just seen your dad stood behind you," or he smiled or nodded at me or whatever, I think for me, like you said, on an emotional level, and it's, I mean, obviously, if he described him not the way that we've got on photos, on way that he's got, like otherwise everything, and it's like, wow, you've just even just describing a personality, it's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, I'd be, especially for him to come to you. I mean, that's got to have, like you said, that moment that it's like he's accepted you for his son.
Yes,
that's got to have been, that's got to have been so overwhelming, actually, for you to feel that emotion and energy.
And so much was said just through that slight smile.
Yeah,
it was like, and then you can pick up on what he's feeling, which he was feeling very happy and satisfied, probably for Kevin and happy, just overall he's so he was he was happy. So, no, that was quite touching. And so now I'm just waiting for the next time that he comes, but I wish he would show himself to Kevin.
Sometimes, I think it's like John would love for his granddad to come through, to see his granddad, or even like have a dream of his granddad. But I think sometimes, the reason they don't come through for certain people is because I think on an emotional level, more so that people want to admit that they go, they're not ready yet to have that connection. And it's not because they're not loved or they didn't love them or they weren't the favorites or anything like that. It's just that I think enough was said while they were living, so they didn't that connection was that strong while they were living, that I think sometimes I think it can be get to maybe on in a mental state as well. Maybe that can get too much for somebody. Because obviously those that have passed over, as loved ones that have passed over, if they come back to us, they're going to know what kind of damage that's going to do, whether it's going to be really good that they've come back through, or is it going to cause more upset, more heartbreak because they've come back through. Yes. It's just a difficult.
Totally know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's so it's really strange how some people it comes to and some it doesn't. But to me, I think I always said they'll come when we're ready, and it might be on his deathbed. It might be when we're crossing over, and they might be ones to come and guide us through. But they'll come when they know we're ready for them to come through. That's when they'll come.
They say spirit don't give you what you want; they give you what
you need. Yeah, and you don't actually need anything from your granddad just yet. Does all the energies and interactions you pick up on make you tired, Robyn?
Oh, I can get very extremely tired. I'll tell you, like the empath part of all this is it can become very, very overwhelming. When I have my tourmaline bracelet. I mean, I got my 7. That's 7. What do they call it? So, Super 7. There's some other name for it. There's 7 crystals alone in that one. Then I've got my rose quartz. But I have been, and this has been going on for years, just even going to Walmart. If I'm by myself, I'm fine with Kevin. He sort of grounds me.
Yeah.
But it's been to the point, if I go by myself, I actually have to sit in the vehicle for about 5 minutes, sort of mentally prepare myself. And then I make a mental map. Yeah. Okay, what do I need to get? So I go, okay, pick up peanut butter, and I work my way all the way around the store, and I end up at the cashiers. But if the cashiers are busy, there's a self-checkout. So, okay, now we're standing 6 feet apart, so it's a little bit better now. Yeah. But when we're all standing in a line, there's no way. So what I do, I whip right through the self-checkout and get the hell out. But that's
yeah.
I have a hard. I really need help with more grounding. And Kevin really helps ground. Like, and even this morning, my dad came. Well, he's like, you know, he's having problems with his phone and this and that, and he is getting up there. He's 82 years old, so I mean, every little thing is like a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
But the anger that I was picking up this morning, and the frustration from him, I have to leave my own house to go out on my deck,
you have to,
just to get my breath, or go into the garage. And Kevin says, "Well, let's go in and check your, you know, because I have all these seedlings that I planted." So I check those. I'm just trying to ground myself before I come back in, because my dad's on the phone trying to deal with all this.
Yeah. What do you put in place then to, when you're grounding yourself? What kind of things do you do to ground yourself, Robyn? If you don't mind me asking.
Is number one. Oh no, breathing is number one, and that's what I and just sort of breathe in and blow it out. You know, that is one. A plan is also another that I've done, like similar to the Walmart thing. I try to do my shopping with Kevin, and I'm fine.
Yeah,
but I still really need. I need some extra help. That's why, like, you know, am I going to have to
see? I went,
some sort of huge.
I don't believe in one religion. I don't believe in one religion. I'm a mixture of all different. I take from religion, what I feel comfortable with. So I make my own up, basically. I do make my own up, but I'd rather make my own up because it's something that I strongly believe in, do you know? So for protection wise, I don't know if you've tried it, Robyn. I've got a few really good meditations that I've got directly off YouTube. It's just looking through. Because what I tend to find with meditation is I do a meditation, but I also do a protection as well. And it's like with the house. As definitely you just have to believe it's the intent that you believe in.
Yes, intent is the word.
So for me, sometimes when we go to bed, or if I'm downstairs, I just imagine to protect the house, I just imagine the light coming round and protecting the house. So that's grounding the foundation of the house for me. And then obviously you've got the light from Mother Earth, from center coming up. So everywhere's grounded. But then I'll do like a grounding protection where they're not allowed to come too close unless I open the chakras up, they can't come, they can't come to me, kind of thing. But normally I only really open up when I'm doing my readings. When I do my tarot, I'll open all my chakras. But then I go back to grounding and make sure that it's cloaked and but it's a daily thing. I think you've got to, I think for me, grounding yourself every day. It's every morning grounding yourself. What are you laughing at?
That's been up. I love grounders.
I know.
I imagine myself in with the white light, but what I do, through my mind, I imagine me doing up the zipper like a onesie, right over the head and everything. So I am completely covered and grounded by, but
it's difficult with energies.
And bare feet is really good too. I mean, bare feet. Walking out, outside in bare feet, but you got to have shoes on when you're going in Walmart.
I don't know about Walmart.
That kind of stuff they just don't tolerate.
No, they don't.
But
Yeah, and that's, like you said, it's finding what you're comfortable with. I mean, so I know with meditations, I mean, sometimes people have sent me a meditation and I've put it on, and I've like, I can't listen to her voice. I can't listen to
you have to
music.
To connect to voice, don't you? Meditation.
Yeah. I mean, I put one on. Don't get me wrong. I love different accents, but when you've got a broad Barnsley accent,
Yorkshire.
Which is a Yorkshire accent, but it's broader than mine. I don't even think I'm broad Yorkshire, but
you sound it.
It really, and I put it on, and about a year ago, weren't it? We put it on. We were laid in bed, and next minute I just went, "Are these guys for real?" Because it was so broad. It will. I just can't even explain it. It was just so funny to listen to. But obviously, I couldn't connect to that one. But then they do another one, and it's a protection for when we're going out on investigations. Because obviously, I always make sure John makes sure as well. But we've both got a different routine of protection, how to protect ourselves, and the meditation I listen to is actually by these two men from Barnsley. But
we don't know if they're from Barnsley. Sound like it.
They do sound like they're from Barnsley.
I don't mean they are though.
Doesn't it?
No.
Well, even because they broad Yorkshire Barnsley accent. Well, where else could they be from?
Anywhere in Yorkshire, basically.
Well, I'm going to say Barnsley because it's a strong Barnsley accent. But they do this protection one, and you can't even tell it's them that are doing it.
But I think there's more than one guy.
I think there's about two.
Yeah, but they might not both be from Barnsley.
Yorkshire.
One might be living in London for all we know. They might only,
Yeah, but they're quite good. But it's crazy. So, have you been out on any investigations, Robyn?
Oh, not for a long time now because of the COVID stuff. But I was never.
Yeah, Ted.
I haven't done a lot of like investigating outside of the home and stuff like that. Like I've gone up to the graveyard a few times, and there I seen a tall gentleman with like not a top hat, but a little shorter than a top hat, very tall, thin man. But when I walked up to him and he was standing by the bench, he just sort of dissipated. So I tried to bring him back, and I'd have the EVP, and there was nothing. I didn't get anything. He was, but I will be starting when allowed to do some investigating with Cornerstone Supernatural. Paul Bush.
I watched Cornerstone. I watch them on YouTube.
I ain't got time.
I actually watch a few of theirs, but I'll watch them in daytime. I watch Corner. I watch it in daytime because obviously different times and everything. But I get notifications when they come on.
Oh, nice. So Paul Bush has a rather large team down on the Lower Mainland, where I used to live. But with me being up here, I was contacted because they're thinking on doing another team, also Cornerstone Supernatural, based out of Kamloops. And I believe it's Sharon Smith that will be running that one. So I may be starting some investigating.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
And I'm really excited about this because with being a beacon and going into a supposed haunted location, I'm hoping to bring them forward, for evidence. So I'm actually quite excited about that. But otherwise, I've never needed to go investigating because they keep coming here.
They come to you, don't they? That's So do they know when to leave you alone, though, Robyn? Have you got it set up so like you're in bath, or it's bedtime, or it's like not their time of the day have you got that barrier put up yet? Have you do they know when they can and when they can't, or are you still working on that crossover barrier time thing?
Still sort of working on that now. I'll tell you a little story. Actually, my husband just came in Anyways, we were laying in bed. We were laying in bed, and actually, we were actually sleeping. And anyways, I guess in the night now, I didn't see this. He woke up from a cold hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And like a very, very, like something very, very cold. So he thought it was me. And so he turned around and just thinking I didn't have the blankets on me or whatever, he went to go, grab the blanket, throw it back over me, and he looked, and there's a lady sitting in the middle of us, just staring at him.
Wow.
So anyways, he just sort of looked at the lady. He said he described her as all one color sort of thing, but you could see the hair and the eyes of, but and then all he could do, hey sweetie, was like think, this isn't happening, and just rolled over the other way. Well, he couldn't reach over and touch me because that woman is there, right? So what do you do? No, because if he doesn't see it, then it's not there, right? Yeah. And then in the morning, he told me about it, and he said, "How did you put that? Tell all your little ghosty friends." What was that? Tell all your ghosty friends to stay out of my bedroom. Tell all your little ghosty friends. So anyway, that was.
Do you know?
Yeah. So he experiences it with me. He doesn't see everything that I do or feel everything that I do, but he does see stuff happen.
Yeah.
And things that have been like our remotes. I mean, they love to take off with just stuff like irrelevant to them, but things would disappear, and then all of a sudden they show up in this really weird
stupid places, don't they? Yeah. And again, but again, it's just like little things, like you say. It might be an earring, and it might not have anything to match. It might be just one earring that don't match, and it'll just go miss. And then you'll find it in bathroom on windowsill or in it somewhere, don't you? Remember when we went to my nana? Yeah.
Remember when we went? That was I have one spirit that comes, or actually possibly more than one, possibly two males and a young girl. But did you see the post in the group there? The one I wrote up about, and it actually has the pictures.
When was that posted?
Oh, probably about a month and a half ago.
I probably will have seen it, Robyn. Yeah, I probably will have seen it. Yeah.
What happened there is that this person comes every once in a while and sporadically, sometimes a couple times a week, sometimes he or they won't show up for, a couple months, and then all of a sudden there's all these happening. So whenever this person comes, they turn on my fan light, and it's like all of a sudden the fan light goes on. So, you go and, okay, well, nothing's, and you go turn it off, or you figure, okay, it's not, we have now figured out it's not the electrical. So this, I guess about a month and a half ago, I thought, okay, I'm going to whip in because the light went on. My washer started flashing, that E1, F2 or whatever, because of the computer, it stopped working. Yeah. And the dog ran outside. So I thought, okay, there's something happening here. So I went in the middle of the living room where the fan light is, the ceiling fan light. And I just went around in circles and just kept taking pictures, turning around in the circle. And it turns out I got a reflection of a stocky gentleman, and the picture's in the group there. And it's very, very clear.
Yeah.
Very clear. Like there's no mistake. And I was the only one here. Then beside that man, in the same reflection, you can see there's possibly another man. It's hard to tell, but they are different shoes and different pants that this one was wearing. And then even in the same picture, really small, down on the bottom right-hand corner, is a little girl. And she looked, yeah, she's very, very pale-faced, dark brown, short, sort of cropped hair, but just her head. But so I finally got him after all these years. I finally got the picture, and I think, yeah. So I took a picture actually of my washer, you know, flashing E1 F2, and then of the dog who refused to come inside the house after that, and would. So I took a picture of him, and I made one post with all 3 pictures. So that's in my group there. If you ever want.
Yeah, no. That's
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing though how animals, children and animals are really sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
Except
I don't know. Fifi's picked up on a few things.
Joking, she sleeps through everything.
No, when you took her a walk and you went up the mill, she did. She didn't like that mill. Yeah. But it is amazing how I think animals and children are really sensitive, and can sense things. I think before even we do sometimes. Because it's like, I don't know, they like get their attention first or something, but
I think they see things that sometimes that we can't at times, and feel things that we can't feel at that time. Even after that point, the dog, remember that, sweetie, the Marlowe was acting, that's the name of our dog, was acting so odd, and that lasted like a couple days, Yeah, and he did not want to come in, and he's like howling. Oh my goodness, he was acting very, very odd. So he did pick up on something else, even after that point. Something that we didn't pick up on, and I didn't pick up on. So, but something was happening, you know. Otherwise, there was no reason for it. For that behavior, we've never seen him really like that. I think Scott
is right. I think. We are more closed off to it, but I also think kids and dogs or animals are more sensitive to spirit because they've got less ego.
Yes, exactly.
Than what we have.
Yeah, and they haven't been told, you know, there's no such thing as ghosts, and it drilled through their heads. You know, so I definitely, because they're more open-minded. They're very open book than adults, definitely.
And I know, just going back to that trinket thing, remember when we were at my nan's and we were pulling my nana wanted carpet taking up in little bedroom, and I said I found that M off my mum's necklace. My mum and my dad, obviously my dad died when I were only 8. When my dad passed away, we were only 31. But him and my mum he bought my mum a necklace, and it had got a gold letter M on the necklace. Well, we moved from the house that obviously we had when my dad was alive. After he passed, we moved into another house. Then from that house, we moved into another house. And then my nana now lives in the last house we lived in. Barmy. But we were taking carpet up, and there's no way that could have got under carpet at all. It could have, I suppose. It could have fell through, but I can't see it falling through a bloody carpet.
No, but where did carpet come from when you moved?
No, it was brand new. No, it was brand new.
It could have been stuck to carpet when carpet was put down.
No, carpets were brand new. And as we rolled this carpet back up, just down, it was like down one at floorboards. And I says to John, what's that down there? And picked it up, and it was actually the letter M from my mum's necklace that my dad had bought. And I showed it my mum, and my mum said she can't remember the last time she even saw that, and whether that's going back to before we even moved into that house, you know, to hours previous. So that, to me, that were right significant, that just because it was something my dad's that were for my mum. And I think only other good catcher we got on my dad were we Ashley. One of my daughters she was going through a bit of a rough patch, and she was taking selfies, and she took a selfie through a mirror. Now there is a light on the ceiling, but to the side of the light when it's caught, some people have said it's just the light coming in. I did a photo shot of him and a photo of my dad that was took, and you can see the jawlines, the same, and it's like he was just coming in to check that you're all right, but it was like he got caught on camera but didn't mean to get caught on camera, if that makes sense. But there is some really weird things appertaining going round and stuff. So Amy's just put, when she moved back into her mom, she felt a cat rub up her leg, and she thought it was one of the 3 cats she had. Looked down, no cat. It was my cat that had recently passed, saying, "Welcome home. His ashes are in our living room." See, again with pets, I think when we lose, I mean, we talk about losing loved ones. When we talk about animals, I mean, they're as fur babies, aren't they? So for me,
I think sometimes you're close to your pets.
You're closer to your pets than people. But again, it's amazing how many people they lose one of the fur babies, and they'll bring another dog or another cat into the home, and it's like certain areas they won't go to because it's like the other dog's energy still there, actually saying no, because this is my space. Keep out of my space, kind of thing. Do you know? So it's weird on how the afterlife actually does work. Especially with spirit connection coming in. So what do you want to, so we've got books coming up in the future. Is there anything else going to be coming up for you, Robyn?
Mainly the books. Books. I'm not even sure of the name, but
just in the process.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think they're going to take me a long time to write, probably edit, yeah. I gotta look more into that.
You have to let us know when they're available.
Are you going to write to myself, or are you getting a ghostwriter?
Oh, you're clever.
Ghostwriter. He just had to say that.
Okay. Yeah, no, he does. Just poking. Oh dear me. But yeah, I mean, I just love paranormal. I just think everything about the paranormal is just, and again, it's not all about ghosts and ghouls and like the paranormal field. I always say it covers a wide field.
A huge field.
What's your take on the elemental factors? The elemental energies that are around us. Have you ever come into contact with any of them? Have any of them ever?
No, but I have felt them.
Yeah.
Walking through the woods. I have not seen an elemental.
Yeah.
But I honestly do believe they are there because I can feel them. Yeah. But I have not seen one. And I'm happy I haven't.
Because they're not all night. The thing is, no, we've got some friends, and Andy and Becky, and they've been into elements quite a long time, to elementals, and obviously they talk to people over in America and Australia, different places where there's bigger groups or more people that are more open to elementals. Because for me, in England, I don't know, Ireland's okay, but I think in England itself, I think a lot of people take the mickey out of the elemental side at paranormal because they'll go, "Oh, it's a fairy," and it's like, no, look at the fact. It's like saying, "Oh, it's a ghost." Do you know what? It doesn't look like what that little thing one does. What do you call him? That cartoon?
Slimer?
No, that cartoon one, Casper. Ghosts don't look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. So why would an elemental fairy or fae or look like Tinkerbell? Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Because they don't. It's completely different. And again, it is. It's another dimension. But I think that's why I think we do when we're investigating, we do that bit of both. We look at the elemental side because we've had some good results come through, and we've had a few strange photos also taken. When we're getting screenshots sent in, There has been a couple. I mean, we understand that in a lot of screenshots that come in, there's a lot of pareidolia going off. A tree could look like a face. You've got to look at,
especially when you're live streaming on mobile phone. It's not like 4K quality.
No,
in light that you've got, it can be quite pixelated at times. So it does.
But when you lighten them up and you blow them up a little bit more, sometimes you get that one capture and you think, oh my God, is that, have they really caught that on camera? And it's like, it's like mouth dropping, isn't it? But I just think it's fantastic. And then you go on to alien side of it then, UFOs and...
Yeah, and then there's the cryptids.
That's what I was going to say. Then it's coming in and it's just... Yeah. I mean, it's fun. I mean, where you are then in Canada, what would be... with cryptoids, what would be the most one that people have sighted or seen or
it would be the Sasquatch. That's the prominent.
Is that the
but I believe it is, but everybody has their own opinions, right? And that's fine. But the Sasquatch or Bigfoot has been sighted a lot out in BC.
Wow.
Through the mountains, and actually only a few places through a few miles away from here even. So
see, what gets me with Sasquatch, with Bigfoot, is where do they go? Because you see them, you can see them, you can see some video footage, you can see them going, but it's said, well, now where have they gone?
And they're gone. After that point, so where did they go?
It's that dimensional. It's that like dimensional coming in. Is there certain portals or dimensional doors that we could even walk through? I suppose not necessarily on purposely walk, but I wonder whether there is, like when you hear people going missing.
Wendigo, is it?
Wendigo. When you like certain people going missing, but they've never actually, I'm not saying all of them have gone to another dimension, but what's just saying that if they have been walking out somewhere in certain areas, certain sightings, that they haven't fell through a different time loop or a different, I mean, my mind just goes on and on and on. Do you know what I mean? But no, but it's just having that open mind, isn't it? That obviously there's so many things out there that we can't explain.
Exactly.
That it's just he just think I'm crazy a little bit sometimes.
Maybe not saying no.
But it's just, but it is, I think, and like you said, I think this is where community needs to come in more. I think, like you said, with para-unity, it's not just the para-unity for me isn't just about the ghost, the spirit energy, the energy. For me, the para-unity as a whole, we need to be bringing, like you say, other like cryptoid groups. But the problem is, I think there's been that much angst in past where Ghostbuster people have slated what they do and called them, well, they're crazy. They don't know, it's not real. Well, I don't get it why you can say that's real, but this is real. Do you know, it just, my mind just blows when people can say it. But I think that in communities themselves, I think there's been quite a bit of upset, I think, because of that respect line, that like respect line coming in across them. So I think it'd be nice in para-unity, like you said, to bring that support back in, to let them know there is a safe place to come. And just because they're looking for cryptoids or they're looking for elementals, it's a safe environment to be.
It's just not
mixed
like
in.
Yes, exactly. It should be, we do. I don't think we have a Bigfoot group in there. We have 126 teams in.
I know,
and
we
they
do.
all
it's growing and lovely.
have their own beliefs, which is wonderful. And so there's a variety of things, but I would actually like to see more on the cryptids,
definitely.
And aliens and you know, 'cause it all sort of comes together. And just for more opinions, more support for teams, for one another, more friends to be made, more knowledge. You know,
exactly. Yeah.
I would love to see that.
I think that'd be I think that'd be where I think if I were looking to where I think Para-Unity could go.
Yeah,
that would be.
There's a group called Para-Unity that we're in as a team exploring the afterlife. And like they said, it's 120.
If you apply, Amy.
If you get in touch with Robyn, Amy runs a team called Paranormal M.I.T.
in America. So obviously, we'll send Amy your details and everything, Para-Unity details to get in touch, and then obviously, But Amy, there's a waiting list, so there's a lot of people wanting to join Para-Unity. If your name's not on list, love, they're not getting in. What investing. It is because a lot of people do want to get involved in that community feel again.
People are tired of drama. That's what it is. And that they want a safe place where they're not going to be judged. Or looked at odd for asking what they feel. Well, maybe that's a stupid question or a silly question.
But there's never no stupid question. The thing is, there's never a stupid question. And again, as I've just said earlier, I believe in all. I've got my own religion. I've got my own belief system. That only I only believe in my system. Do you know? But just because I'm not going to disrespect anybody else who's got another religion completely. I mean, we might have got some really devout Catholics that come in and they might be set against what we do. Some of them might understand what we do because they're not everybody's the same. So for me, it's just keeping that respect line on
yes, exactly,
on bar. You know, everybody's allowed their opinion, but just be respectful. Because again, I think sometimes as well, when people are typing, they can ask a question.
Why is it different for me though?
It's shut up.
So I'm only allowed an opinion if it agrees with you.
That's because you live with me, dear. That's because you live with me. No, but it's like with typing. There's no emotion behind something that's being typed. So, like, there's nobody I can really pick on in chat because nobody's put out really.
Picking on people.
But there's like, it's like if somebody puts something, somebody might say, what's that piece of equipment you're using? And how that might come across to somebody is, don't call that piece of equipment crap. And they've not said it's crap, staying, just how it's worded, it sounded like they were being funny. And you know, so you've really got to be very careful because of that no emotion kind of thing. So to me, if somebody comes in and they might say, this is rubbish.
It's not that we've had a few people come in and they put, is this real?
Yeah, is this real? Yeah. Normally, people, a lot of people jump on them then and they'll be like, if yes, it's real. If this isn't for you, don't be in this group, blah, 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 blah. Instead, what you should be saying is, we believe, this is our belief. What do you believe? Or if they come in and they say this is shit, well, why is it shit? What part of it don't you understand? Or
and they're gone.
Do you know what I mean? If they come in and that, if they come back if they come back in and say the same again, then obviously it's your block button and they're not for that community. But it's like giving everybody benefit of doubt. But Nanny Lynn's got a question for you, Robyn. Do you believe in demons?
You have already answered it.
You have answered it earlier. Nanny Lynn's late coming in.
I do believe, but I've never experienced one. I think they are extremely, extremely, in my opinion, rare. Out of all of my experiences all through my life, I've only had the one negative, and the rest have all been positive or you know, people coming through or whatever. So I do believe, not totally, because I haven't seen it or experienced it, you know what I mean? But I'm not saying it isn't.
No. It's possible.
There isn't. I have a very open mind. Um,
You think you have to?
For me, I think they do exist. Again, never experienced one myself. Don't think I ever will experience one. I think 99% of every experience people have had that said have been demonic are not demonic. Because for me, if there's this all-powerful being that's never lived and it's really, it's not going to chuck a pebble at you.
No.
Or make a growling. Wait, it's going to do. If it does something, you'll know it.
Yeah,
You'll not be mistaken.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And I've heard a nasty growl, you know, but I'm not going to say, oh, that was
Nanny Lynn,
no,
Nanny Lynn shouting at me.
Or
Yeah, you know.
my animal spirit's a wolf or something. I don't know, but I have heard the growl, and I did hear that laughing on that Saturday night live show, like what I was talking about earlier, which was very, very ugly.
Yeah,
low laugh, but I'm not saying that's demonic either.
No, I mean your spirit guide's a wolf. Well, it's a wolf dog, isn't it? Yeah,
spirit animal's a wolf.
It's John's spirit animal is as a wolf. So we've been chatting now for an hour and a half, Robyn. So I think you might have got some things to do this afternoon. Is it afternoon there?
Yes, it's 20 after, and it's almost due for me to go pick up the two special needs that we pick up. Very rewarding. What you do, Robyn, is very, very rewarding. And obviously just being in care myself, working in care work myself with the older ones, the jobs are just so rewarding in themselves anyway with what we do. But but I do want to say thank you so much.
Yes, thank
for coming on and joining us. And I do hope you come and join us again, Robyn. Maybe get Carol on, see if Carol wants to pop on and tell us about her journey as well. But Adam, I'll answer that next time we're on My Sweets. So take care, Robyn. We will share all your links. And thank you so much for joining us. Mwah. Love you loads.
You're so welcome. Oh my God. Yeah. I was honored when you guys asked. My goodness. Yeah. I'm so happy to be here and answer the questions in the chat. And I'll come back and
fabulous. Well, you're welcome anytime. Just let me know, Robyn, when you're free and we'll just send you a link. We're always on Chit Chat Tuesdays, so ever you're free, to just pop in. All right.
All right.
All right then, my lovely.
Thank you, everybody in chat.
All right, sweetie. Take care. Right, guys. We're going to end this live now. So everybody take care. Everybody have a great evening. Great afternoon as well if you're not in the UK. Love you loads.
Great morning if you're in Australia or New Zealand.
Love you loads, and we will catch you all very soon. Mwah. Love to you all. Stay safe.
See you, everybody.
It's this ending bit now.